Kevin, welcome onto my YouTube channel for the very first time.
Oh, thank you very much. It's great to be here.
And are you nervous?
Oh, a little nervous, yeah, for sure. I don't do this as a matter of my job, so yeah, a little nervous.
Well, actually, speaking about your job, that's one of the first questions that my students have. And first of all, thank you for submitting so many amazing questions. You have some hard questions coming your way.
All right, let's bring it on.
All right, so Saeed wanted to know about your job, and he wants to know what you typically do at work. Explain the whole day.
Okay, well, I'm a partner of a software company, and we build software to manage large companies' privacy and private information. So on my side, most of my day, I work at home, first of all. I travel a little bit, but for the most part, I'm at home. And I'm responsible for all the development and design activities of the company. So a lot of my day is spent talking to customers, talking to our employees, and just making sure that the application is following along on the path that we desire it to be. So a lot of software development.
Now, if you're not in the field of software development, half the time when Kevin tells me about his day, I don't really understand what he does because software development is just so different from the work I do.
That's true.
But I've learned a lot about software development just from you talking about it.
You're getting good. Next thing we know, you're going to be one of our developers.
Yeah, sure. I don't think so. But thank you. And you'll be the next English teacher.
Yeah, I doubt that either.
Okay, so we talked about your profession. Now, another student also asked about your profession, but then he wanted to know how you support me and motivate me to produce YouTube content. So what would you say that? How do you support and motivate me? Think back to when I first started my YouTube channel.
Yeah, it was. It's hard to get anything going. It's hard to get a company off the ground. It's hard to start a new business venture, and I think it's also a little bit more challenging to work at home and work by yourself all the time, even if you're talking to other people. And I think that both Jennifer and I have a lot in common in that way. I've probably been doing it a little bit longer, and I think that a lot of the support, if you wanted to think of it like that, is a lot around how to be yourself during the day, how to create a business environment when you're working by yourself, and how to start a new endeavor. It's not easy, and it takes a lot of time and hard work and patience.
Yeah, that's true. So Kevin and I, we both worked from home even before COVID, which wasn't very common at the time, but we both did. And so it's something that we really had to adjust to, for sure.
Yeah, and it was good. I mean, in the sense that we already had home offices set up. We already had all of that type of infrastructure, things that you wouldn't even think that you would need as a home office. And even the discipline of actually going to work, to your home office every day, isn't necessarily something that everybody was used to during COVID times.
But this student wanted to know how you support me with my YouTube channel. So think back to when I first started it. Would you have described me at that time as a tech-savvy person? A tech-savvy person is someone who is really good with technology. The technology needed to create a YouTube channel. So would you have described me as a tech-savvy person?
No, but you're a fast learner, a very quick study. So yeah, I mean, at the very beginning, everything from web page optimizations to understanding how web marketing works, to creating web pages, to creating all of the software and the computers around that. So I think I helped a little bit on that side of things, but like I said, you're a very quick study.
Well, I mean, just for YouTube though, even just setting up a camera and lighting, I did not know how to do that. I didn't even own a camera. Kevin bought me the camera. He bought the lights for me. He bought my microphone. He set it all up. He's being very modest. He did everything to start my YouTube channel. All the technical stuff was 100% Kevin.
Well, and so not one of the questions, but I do a lot of photography as a hobby.
Oh, spoiler alert, that's a future question.
Oh, okay. And now half of my lighting equipment is seconded to Jen's studio as opposed to my photography stuff downstairs. So,
yeah,
yes.
I stole all of his photography
Yes.
stuff for my YouTube studio. But then you just got to go out and buy new stuff for yourself.
True. That's true.
And Kevin loves buying the latest and best things, which really benefited me because I hate shopping. So he did all my shopping for me, and it was all top of the line quality equipment.
I also converted you to a Mac person.
Yeah, that was a long time ago though.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of a long time ago, the next question that many of you wanted to know was how Kevin and I met. So Dimitri asked that, Chloe asked that, Ahmad asked that, Kaziz asked that. They all wanted to know how we met.
Well, it was a long time ago.
About how many years?
11, 12 plus years ago in that area.
We're not very good with dates. I don't know what our anniversary is.
No, we're not very good with that.
We don't celebrate our anniversary, but we do celebrate birthdays and Christmas.
It's true.
Yeah. But I would say 11, 12 years.
It's quite a while ago.
It seems like a long time.
Too long. No. But no, so
So how we met 11, 12 years ago.
12 years ago. So at that point in time, Jennifer hadn't been in the city all that long. And I had a friend of a friend that wanted to go to a party one night. And I remember too, it was kind of begrudgingly because I didn't really feel like it. It was in a part of town that I didn't live in, didn't go to very often. So begrudgingly went to this party, and there I met Jennifer. Yes. My life was never the same. But I remember that during the party, Jen came over and thought that she may have known who I was. Now, I think at the time that you know, you're fairly new to the city, and Jen was just kind of thinking, oh, you know, haven't I seen you before?
I remember exactly what I said to you. Do you remember?
Something like that. Haven't I seen you? Don't I know you from somewhere?
No, I walked up to him at a party, and I didn't know very many people. Like Kevin said, I had only lived in Ottawa for 3-4 months at the time. So I didn't know many people. He didn't know many people at this specific party. And it was a pretty big party, maybe like 20 people there.
Yeah.
I walked up to him and I said, "You look so familiar. Have we met before?" It's I remember it. I remember it so clearly.
Which ironically I get every once in a while, that people think that I look familiar for some reason or other.
I guess he just has one of those faces.
Familiar faces, yeah. So I remember, so that occurred at one point. Then we kind of went our separate ways a little bit during the party. We chatted a little bit. And I remember towards the end of the party, I came back and I just had to know more about Jennifer. So I asked her for her number, and we started chatting after that. And that was 11, 12 years ago. We can't remember when.
Mm-hmm. And when I asked Kevin, "Have we met before? You look so familiar," I was not intending to start a relationship with him. I honestly was so curious. I felt like I knew him, and it was just really bothering me. Why do you look so familiar? And I just had to ask.
Good job you did.
Yeah, good job I did. And the rest is history, as they say. Okay. Oh, someone else wanted to know, was it love at first sight? Well, for me, to be honest,
Oh.
it's love now. But no, for me, it was not love at first sight. For me, it was confusion because I wanted to know who this person was. What about you? Was it love at first sight?
Well, I think it was like this amazing looking girl comes over and pretends that she doesn't know who I am, so I thought it was an awesome experience, a great opportunity, but I don't think you really love someone until you know who they are. So
Yeah.
It was certainly interest at first sight, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, can you really love someone the first time you see them? But I guess there's just something that draws you to a person.
Yeah.
And clearly I was drawn to you and you kept talking to me.
And I asked for your number.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Now, in many questions and actually many comments, people say we look alike. What do you guys think? So this person, Anissa, hi Anissa, you resemble him a lot, but her question, or his question, sorry, was, what do you like most about each other? And another person, Mohammed, wanted to know what feature of yours does Kevin like the most? And someone else wanted to know why you love me. So we'll just summarize all of those as, what do you like most about me? I'm actually really curious to hear this as well.
Well, that's a tough one. And by the way, Jennifer did not tell me any of these questions ahead of time.
No,
so
Kevin did
I
not
have to now
see
come
these
up with
questions.
something on the spot. That's great.
You should be able to easily answer what
true.
you like about me.
This is true. Well, beyond the obvious that you're a beautiful, intelligent person, I think that one of the things I like most about you is that you have a sense of adventure. Like one of the things that we have in common, I think, is that we're very adventurous. Be it travel or business. And I think both of those things we really kind of connect on. And Jennifer's very adventurous, willing to start her own business, willing to learn all these new things that we talked about a few minutes ago, and willing to go and try new things, and we're both like that, I think. But as you probably know, we just got back from Italy, and that was a whole big adventure. And if we don't do something, I think, adventurous on a constant basis, we both get kind of home bored, just staying within the house. And I think the adventurous piece is probably the biggest thing that we have in common, and the biggest one of the biggest things that I appreciate most about you.
Oh, well, thank you. That was nice to hear because it's not like I routinely ask him, what do you like about me? So it was nice to hear. Thank you for asking those questions. Okay. Next question. Let's move on to a different topic. And at least 3 students wanted to know about your favorite dish, your favorite food, your favorite cuisine. So what would you say to that?
Well,
And he likes to eat.
I like to eat, but we're both pretty adventurous
Yes.
with food, and we're both kind of foodies. So I have to kind of break it down into various types, right? So my favorite out with the guys kind of comfort food, that's easy. You probably know it.
What, pizza?
Dinners.
Oh my gosh. Dinners are, they're not very good.
They are amazing.
Well, tell them what
Amazing.
they are because they have no idea what dinners are.
So in particular, we live in Canada, and in the east coast of Canada, a city called Halifax is famous for the Halifax diner.
Sorry to interrupt, Kevin, if any of my students live in the east coast of Canada or anywhere in Canada and you've heard of dinners, let me know in the comments. Sorry to interrupt, go on.
So it's basically a pita with spiced meat and very, very, very good sweet sauce within this pita with some tomatoes and onions, and it's simply delicious, but it's very much a after like a guy's night out, after after a game or something, that kind of a comfort food. It's not a fine dining experience by any stretch.
No,
so,
not at all. I don't recommend it.
they're awesome. So more now, outside that, I probably don't have like necessarily a favorite food, but a favorite style of dining, if I can kind of morph the question into that, is probably tasting menus. So it kind of goes back to that adventure theme that I talked about earlier. We both
maybe explain what a tasting menu is.
So a tasting menu, and particularly a thing called a blind tasting menu, is you go to the restaurant and they tell you that they're going to serve you X number of courses. Typically it's a big number, like 8 or 9 or 10 course meal, and you have no idea what you're getting. You can tell them if you have allergies or major preferences, but in general you have no idea what you're getting. And they build a meal like a small dish, small dish, small dish, and you get to try all these unique flavors, all these unique presentations that are made by the restaurant at that point in time. And it's very creative on the part of the chefs, and it's a fun experience. And typically as well, or many times, you pair, say, a wine pairing or some kind of beverage pairing with the food itself. So I really enjoy that style of dining, as Jennifer knows.
On our third date, only our third date, Kevin takes me to this restaurant. Remember, I'm new to Ottawa, generally, the city we're in. I had only lived here for about 3-4 months at the time. So on our third date, he's like, let's go to this restaurant. It's called Atelier. Let's go to this restaurant. And I'm like, okay. And it's this very fancy restaurant that had a 12 course?
Yeah, at least.
A 12 course tasting menu. And the food they presented to you was more like art. Yeah. It was just so beautiful. You almost didn't want to eat it. You just wanted to look at it. And this was on our third date. That really impressed me, I'll have to say. He has definitely opened my eyes to a lot of different food, for sure.
Thank you.
Although he puts spicy sauce, hot peppers on almost everything he eats.
But not to ruin the taste.
No.
Only when it complements it.
But he really likes spicy food.
I like spicy food, yes.
Yeah. So if that was a genre of food, spicy food, I would say that's probably your favorite.
It's true as well, yeah.
Okay, that's cooking. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, I'm going to read this. This comes from Alex. He said, hi Jennifer, I know that being a teacher and a content creator could be challenging sometimes. So I'd like to know how your profession has impacted positively and negatively your relationship. What do you think? I know it's maybe a little more of a question for me, but I'm going to get Kevin to answer. So what do you think? Having this YouTube channel, has it impacted our lives positively or negatively? What would you say?
Well, I think certainly positively. I think a lot of times we'll probably do something now for content, as a primary purpose of getting content, but it could be going on hikes. It could be going to a particular area of town or experiencing a particular thing. Or, when we were in Italy just a week ago, I guess, we did a lot of stuff for content creation, which maybe we wouldn't have done otherwise. So I think it's a positive from that perspective. And
how about negative? Can you think of any ways it's had a negative impact?
No, I don't think really negative. I'm a naturally patient person, and so content creation, you're gonna have to be pretty patient in the sense that when you're doing an activity, you're gonna stop or break or do some content, and it's not just once and it's all done perfectly. It's something that could be done over time in that particular activity that you're doing. So as an example, when we were in Italy, we stopped or did things many, many times for the purpose of content creation, which I didn't mind at all. But I'm also I also do, like I said, a lot of photography, and sometimes you just have to, wait for the shot to unfold in photography.
Kevin is a very patient person. If the roles were reversed, I am not as patient as Kevin, for sure. I wish I had his patience. He is way more patient than me. If the roles were reversed and I was the one sitting there waiting while Kevin took all these pictures of himself and these videos, I would probably be a little annoyed. But Kevin, thankfully, he's an extremely patient person. So that's probably why it hasn't impacted negatively because of his patience.
Thank you.
Good question though. Okay. Abdullah, next question. Abdullah has 2 questions.
Oh.
Number 1, you record videos to teach English in all the places you go with your husband. Oh yes, this is why I put this question here. Does this bother your husband? So we were just talking about that. Does it bother you?
No, not at all. And admittedly, at the beginning, I did have to get a little bit accustomed to taking videos in some like public places.
Oh yeah, it's
like
super awkward.
Like Home Depot as an example, or Costco, right?
So we'll be in Costco, and I'll be like, I'll pick up a jar of pickles, and I'll be like, Kevin, can you just like record me for 30 seconds? But there's all these people walking around, and sometimes they'll see we're doing a video, so they'll stop, which is very polite. We're in Canada. Canadians are very polite. But I'm recording this video. Well, Kevin's recording it. I'm holding this jar of pickles and trying to teach something, and these people are watching and waiting, and it's super awkward.
Yeah, so in those cases, like a lot of the places we go, if you're hiking or if you're outdoors, no problem at all. But that was probably the only thing I had to kind of get used to and see how other people would react to it.
Yeah, I don't like it either. A lot of students will ask like, oh, doesn't it? I could never take videos in public places. Doesn't it bother you? And the answer is yes, it really does. It's so awkward. But I do it anyways because you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. You have to do things that are awkward and uncomfortable in order to get a great piece of content.
A great result.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and thankfully, kind of coming back to, we're both very adventurous, and thankfully Kevin's very patient. I think those 2 qualities really help in this situation, because I think many people wouldn't want to do that and would get annoyed with me constantly being like, oh, take my picture here, do this video here. But he never gets annoyed.
Don't mind. I think it's fun.
Yeah, and he's being honest, because I always ask him, is it okay? Are you sure you don't mind? And he always says, no, not at all. Okay, so no, it doesn't bother you. And then the next question was, how much influence does Kevin have on your success? Well, I'm going to answer this because he'll be super modest and probably say, it's all me. Yeah, it's all me. Kevin has had so much influence on my success. I would not have a YouTube channel without Kevin because, like I said at the beginning, I was not a technical person. I would not have known how to set up cameras, lighting, photo editing, video editing, all of that. I would have been so overwhelmed with. I probably wouldn't even have started. But Kevin was there to help me with that, support me, and I really think you're the reason why I have a YouTube channel.
Oh, thank you. But I think the hard work and perseverance that you put in had a lot to do with it as well.
Well, for sure, of course. I take credit for my success too. But you had a big role to play. Okay, this is a great question. When you have a problem or misunderstanding with Kevin, how do you solve it? So I'll reverse it because I want Kevin to do the talking. When you have a problem or misunderstanding with Jennifer, how do you solve it?
Just recognize that Jennifer's right. And no,
That's a very good answer to all you husbands out there. That was the perfect answer. Honestly, we should just move on.
Okay, move on.
That was the best answer. Okay. But to be serious, probably just like communicating really well. Like when we get annoyed with each other, when we get frustrated with each other, we're honest and we say like, I need a little break from you. Give me a little space.
We each take a cat, and that makes us feel better. So.
Yeah, true. Okay, next question from Mohammed Hamza. He's only 20 years old, and he wants to know if you have any advice for life, relationships, school, or friendship. So maybe just pick your best piece of advice for a 20-year-old.
Well, that's a tough one, but I think that...
Mohammed is counting on you.
Yes, exactly. I think the best piece of advice is to choose something, like if it's life, work, whatever you wish, choose things that you enjoy, because you'll be successful doing the things you enjoy. Don't pick something that other people want you to do and that you don't enjoy. And I think that, Jennifer and I were talking about that this morning in terms of learning other languages. And if you pick the method, the work that you enjoy, the people that you want to hang out with that you enjoy, you're going to be successful because you're going to want to do it and you're going to put the effort in. And I think that's kind of key. It's people that try and be something that they're not or not committed to or don't enjoy, that they're probably not going to be successful doing it.
Yeah, that's really good advice. Okay, next question. Oh, this is the one before I said, oh, spoiler alert, we're going to talk about this. So, Kolobok, baby skin, and Sterling wanted to know what you do for fun or what's your pastime.
So we've talked about one, photography is a big pastime. Another one is biking, like bicycling. Is another pastime, and not just for the purpose of going biking, but as Jennifer will tell you, it's the whole thing about putting the bikes together and accessorizing, servicing. I had the bike in our little bike shop downstairs for a month this year because I changed the drivetrain out of the bike. I give my bike names. Or a name, Buddy. He was famous. He was on the Met Gala this year, but not my bike, but one exactly like it. So biking is another one. In the wintertime, we used to do snowboarding a fair bit, which I also enjoy, but hiking, winter hikes, snowshoeing without snowshoes in the winter we enjoy. So I think that plus, like I said, the photography is probably my main hobbies.
Kevin's an excellent photographer. He's taken some beautiful photos.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, this next question is probably my favorite question from Mr. Killer, or M Killer. He wants to know, are you Mr. 305 worldwide Pitbull? Because you look a lot like him.
I feel that I do as well.
Sorry. By the way, my name is Diego. Okay, so Diego wants to know, are you Mr. 305 Pitbull?
I feel I do look a lot like Pitbull. In fact, this summer, Jennifer and I went to the Pitbull concert.
And that's why I said it's
awesome.
my favorite question, because we both really love Pitbull.
Yeah. Even to doing in the house, not in public, and you'll never see a video of it, of us doing karaoke to Pitbull and Shakira.
Yeah, I'm obvious. And we do the one with Christina
Aguilera.
Aguilera.
Christina as well, yeah.
Yeah, he does a really great job.
Yeah, you will never see it.
Okay, so Mary wanted to know, well, first your nationality, of course, Canada. We've already mentioned that. But she wants to know, what's your advice about living in Canada? I thought that was a great question.
Yeah, I've lived in Canada all my life. I was born here. Advice living in Canada, I don't know. It's I think the country is very diverse. And I think that it's fun to explore various parts of the country. We've been to, not every place in Canada, certainly not the northern parts that we want to visit, but, we've got a pretty good handle on what the East Coast and the West Coast and Central Canada is like. And I think choosing a spot where you enjoy, where we like, I like, as an example, the Four Seasons, winter, spring, summer, fall, and seeing the trees turn and that. So, I think choosing the right place that you enjoy is a great place to start for Canada.
Yeah, good advice. And bring a warm jacket.
And bring a warm jacket. Yeah.
Because it gets really cold.
Yeah, Canada Goose is your friend.
Yes, Canada Goose, that's a brand, maybe you know it, but they make these really heavy duty winter jackets that will prepare you for -40 or -50. And although it doesn't get to -40, it's about -20, -15, -20 in our city, but you need a good jacket.
You do. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
and gloves.
And gloves, and a hat, and a scarf. So that's how you can prepare for life in Canada. Well, I do have more questions from students, but I feel like we have answered a lot already. So why don't we save the other questions for another interview? What do you think? Are you going to come back?
Sounds good. I love it.
Do you guys want Kevin to come back? If you want to see another video featuring Kevin, what should they put? Go Kevin Go. Go Kevin Go. Go Kevin Go. Put that in the comments. Go Kevin Go. And then if lots of people put Go Kevin Go, I'll invite them back for another interview.
Thanks so much. It's been great being here.
Bye everyone.
Bye-bye.